recording on this one, and 1, 2, 3, and go.
Nalanie, thank you for being here.
Namaste.
For many, many years, you've been my soul doctor. You've been my spiritual guru. You've led so many hundreds, if not thousands, I would say by now, from a place of fear into a space of peace. And as part of that, I've sent you many, many of my clients.
Yes, you have.
In the field of family law
Yes,
and other fields too. And so I wanted to ask you to share with us today, how do you find these clients when you first meet with them? What's their state? What are they like?
Okay, before I answer that,
Yes.
Amber, I'd love to say I just love you as a lawyer, because you're not after the greed, you're not after the fame. You truly care for people, and I'm in the line of work of creating peace, right? And that, to meet a lawyer like you, for me, is phenomenal. And I'm very grateful for the work you do. Yes, now I will answer your question.
Thank you.
The answer is yes, when I meet them, they're angry, they're frustrated, they almost, some of them could kill each other. And then I get them to just sit down and relax. I ask them to do a few deep breaths and ask them to remember the wedding day. In the case of divorces, etc. How did that feel? And I think that's such a shock question for them. They don't expect it. I said, did you hate each other so much then? And why did you marry if you hated each other? Can you tell me some good moments? So that already automatically changes their mindset, right? So now they're no longer in that anger mode. And that's when I ask them to reflect. Do they really want to go ahead like that? One time they had something beautiful and lovely. Okay, it doesn't work anymore. But do you have to get angry and lose your peace over it? Why can't you be two adults that decide that you no longer want to be together? Why destroy the children? What do you do to them? Why destroy the lives of your parents and all your friends just because you can't see eye to eye? And then I asked them to reflect on what they are both teaching each other. Because really, Amber, it's important to know it takes two hands to clap. Okay, sometimes one hand claps louder and the other less, but still, it's an acceptance of their own personal responsibility rather than blaming the other partner. So of course this takes a few sessions, but in all the cases you've sent me, I think people have reflected greatly and realized it just wasn't worth the pain and the anguish that it costs to go to court and to destroy their children.
Exactly.
So yes, thank you for recommending them.
It's my pleasure. And one of the reasons that I started developing this model of legal practice was because I felt that there were so many people carrying so much pain and so much trauma, even from possibly before they met their partners, from childhood, from other events that had happened to them in their lives. And that one thing that the current legal system doesn't address is the underlying root cause of why do people find themselves in conflict? Why do people find themselves fighting, as you say, and in this anger and with carrying so much pain? And so that for me, it's almost like I can give them the gift through this practice of offering a gentle intervention. If they want it, of course. If they want it, a gentle intervention so that they can start reflecting on, okay, well, what maybe is the driving force behind this behavior? Why am I behaving this way? Why am I in so much pain? And how can I dissolve that and find a healing and find, like, make peace my goal is what you teach,
yes.
Make peace your goal. And so do you find that once they've gone through your process that this in a way is like an opportunity for them to change their mindset about things, to reframe, to maybe move forward in life in a way that now will help them face the next obstacles so that they don't land themselves in a courtroom again or in these big battles, that maybe they learn the tools or they learn more about themselves to be able to face those obstacles and turn them into gifts of learning?
This is a loaded question, but I will say yes. Exactly like you said, if they want to.
If they want to.
If they want to. In the case of couples, I mostly come across one who wants to and one who refuses to.
Okay.
We have egos here, right? And some with very spiritual beliefs and some who don't believe them at all and believe war is the only way forward. I have many of those cases. So the one who does believe and does search for peace is the one that I continue to work for. The other one may walk out and not do anything about it. But what has happened in those cases, what they have learned is, what you resist persists, right? So I tell the person that I counsel who decides to go for the peace path, okay, they're going to scream and shout at you, and all you have to do is when this starts happening, okay, I'm busy, and put the phone down. Do not engage, we call it non-attachment in yoga, right? And you just, okay, this is very difficult for the other person. So obviously there's a training in meditation, there's a training in understanding mindset, and forgiveness is a big tool that they have to understand their ex-partner or whatever is a troubled soul. And they can't fix everyone. We can't fix everyone, Amber. We can only fix ourselves. And I think those that do come and decide to reflect on themselves and change their lives, they do change their lives and they do make a difference. And when you have one person who's constantly at peace and the other one attacking, eventually they'll back off. Eventually they will back off. I've seen it again and again and again because they're not getting any response. So all they have to face is their own voice. And hopefully one day they hear that loud, egotistical, narcissistic voice is only hurting them. It's only hurting them, but we can't do anything about them. The choice is theirs.
And is there such a thing as the ripple effect? I've seen it, at least myself, but I want to ask others too. Like, if we can support people in finding that opportunity for peace and making peace their goal, do you see that then has a positive impact on children and on others in their family, on their friends, on their work colleagues?
100%. 100%. And this I can vouch for. Like in the case of one angry parent and the other not. And let's say it's the parent that takes the child and that parent's angry. And I ask the other parent, you know what? Stay calm, stay peaceful, do not react, do not say anything against the other person. And I've seen in a very short period of time, that child will go for the peaceful path and actually educate that parent who has them that they no longer want to be in that energy field. And that itself is the ripple effect because that child has taught that parent either to calm down or they will lose them. So it is a ripple effect, absolutely, and I've seen it again and again. And the person who does take the peaceful path creates peace wherever they go, not only with what they've learned from all of this, but to the outside world as well. And it helps them with their businesses, it helps them with other legal affairs, and so it benefits all round.
Thank you. Can I ask you one last question?
Sure, you can ask as many as you want.
So, looking at like the holistic model of practice that I'm working with, and you know it quite well now for a number of years, and of course there are other models too, like mediation and collaborative law, and there's so many other models. Why do you think that people still might choose to war it out in the adversarial system, or why do you think that the adversarial system isn't changing? Why there's so much resistance from lawyers? Because I've come across lawyers who I've wanted to share these ideas with, but it's as if a wall goes up and they become really defensive. And I've been told things like, oh, but if you settle early, you don't earn the fees that you could if you litigate.
Correctly. You just answered.
So I just answered the question, right?
You just answered the question.
Yeah.
Greed. It's greed. I'm sorry to be so truthful, but it is. And most lawyers think the longer you leave it, or you continue, go to court, the fees, clink, 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 the till's cashing out. And that is the truth. It's greed. And so they actually, if a person is angry or frustrated, they actually encourage it. And I think that's disgraceful. I actually think that is so disgraceful and so dishonorable, and this needs to be changed. They encourage the anger, they encourage the fight, and they have no idea, or they don't care for the consequences that follow with the children or with the families, because it's disastrous. And yes, I have seen that again and again and again. And this is why I think you're so admirable. And I think more lawyers need to engage and work the way you do, because it just would make the world a better place and families happier. Because for what does it benefit the man to gain the whole world at the cost of his soul and his peace, or a peace? What does it benefit anyone? And this is what we need to educate people. I mean, very intelligent people shock me because they're the most greedy of all. And I often say, you can't take a penny of it with you when you die.
Absolutely.
So why live a life of war? Does it make sense to you?
Not at all, not at all.
Why?
Not at all. So thank you for sharing, Nalanie. I'm very grateful for your time.
You're
and
very
for your
welcome.
blessings.
You're
Thank you.
very welcome. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.